Well, we didn't get to it yesterday, but I did want to take a moment to give you a video to break down the newest member of the Seattle Seahawks, Steven Sims Jr., signing with Seattle this week. Let's tell you all about him here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. And I got to say, first off, I am so excited about this signing. As somebody that went to the University of Kansas, I covered Steven Sims when he was in college at KU, when I was a student there. It is so refreshing, so exciting to have a Jayhawk on this roster, in addition to Mike Nowitzki as well, who's at the center position right now. The news coming out yesterday, the Seahawks officially announcing the signing that Steven Sims has been signed, and also they posted a photo of him putting the pin on the dotted line, making it official. Steven Sims, for me, and we'll go over all the details here in just a bit, the thing that I've seen, and I've followed his career so closely, dating back to his days at Kansas all the way to the NFL, is that at every juncture, he has been, I would say, undervalued. And you go back to even to his high school days. He was a 0-star recruit until he came to the University of Kansas, till he got the offer from Kansas, I should say. And then his star ratings quickly rose up, and he ended up being about a 2 or 3 star by the time he ended up going to the University of Kansas, where he had a pretty good run on some bad Kansas football teams through some just pitiful eras of KU football in that stretch. Goes undrafted in 2019, ended up signing with the Commanders, and he's played for several different teams, the Ravens, the Texans, the Steelers, and the Bills. And although he's primarily a wide receiver, where Steven Sims has made his money in the NFL has been in the special teams area when it comes to kick return and punt return coverage. That's when Steven Sims has primarily been used. And I would think for this Seattle team, that is going to be their area of focus with Steven Sims. His best path forward to make this roster, potentially the 53-man, when it's all said and done, will be to see if he can be that same player that he's been as a very effective kick and punt returner there. So that'll be something to watch on that end. How would you grade the signing of Steven Sims Jr.? Give me your grade in the comments section. It is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know what you think. A, B, C, D, or F. I'll give you my grade on the flip side in a moment, but want to hear from you guys first. Weigh in and let us know. My grade is a B, and my standard has been with these lower-level signings here in free agency that if it doesn't hurt you, it's at least a C. And I think that Steven Sims, he does enough to make you better and give you another option, at least in the special teams department, that he does elevate you and make you better. And at the very least, even if he doesn't make the roster, he's going to make things competitive for the guys competing for the spots in the special teams unit in the return game. So I'm going to go with at least a B on Steven Sims Jr. I want to go A, being biased towards the Jayhawk ending up in Seattle, but realistically speaking, because there are concerns that he hasn't been great, he hasn't been that good when it comes to his receiving game, that he's mostly been a special teams guy, I'll go with a B for my grade with Steven Sims Jr. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today. Doesn't matter if the signing is a huge deal or if it's a smaller one like this one with Steven Sims Jr., we're going to bring you a video here on the channel in some way, shape, or form. The latest happenings in your Seattle Seahawks, we cover it each and every day here on Seahawks Today. We got live shows twice a week, breaking news, Q&A mailbags. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on notifications. We're closing in on 65,000 subscribers on the channel, but we need your help to get there. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. All right, so let's go through these piece by piece, starting with the receiving stats. Then we'll go to the punt return stats, and then we'll go to the kick return stats. And here's what I mean as far as the receiving stats go, that he just doesn't do much. He did not register a single receiving stat in 2024 or in 2021. And in 2024, he played in 9 games. He just wasn't used as a receiver. But you can see 2022 had over 100 yards off of 14 catches. 2023 had 25 yards off of 3 catches. So he's been used sparingly in his career in that sense. But basically, I would not expect much from him when it comes to his receiving ability at this point in his career, that he's primarily a special teams guy. Now, let's go into the special teams numbers. All right? Let's start with the punt return numbers. And you can see 2023 averaged over 12 yards a return, 5.8 yards a return last year with Houston and Baltimore, 5.5 with Pittsburgh in 2022. He's got a lot of good speed that he brings to the table. He's very agile. He can move. He is what you're looking for in a return specialist in that sense. And what we've seen, too, a lot that has gone on in the NFL with these returners is that they are kind of dividing the returners up. That, hey, you got these faction of guys that are kick return guys and these faction of guys that are punt return guys. Well, in the case of Steven Sims, he does both. You look at the kick return stats and the numbers from the kick return side of things. Last year had 7 kick returns, averaged close to 28 yards a return, had a long of 37. 2022, he averaged 25.5 kick returns yards and had a long of 89. And another thing I would point to is that the NFL, there are discussions going on this week about the kickoff rule being adjusted, where the touchback is going to be the 35 instead of the 30, which will incentivize more teams to kick it shorter. That way they're not just giving up 35 free yards off of a touchback. So in theory, if it works out that way, then the kick return game is going to be more important. So guys like Steven Sims could potentially have more of an impact than what they've had previously in that sense. What is your one-word reaction to the Seahawks signing Steven Sims Jr.? I'll give you my one-word reaction coming up in just a moment, but I want to hear from you guys first. Weigh in and let us know what your one word is. I'm going to cheat with my one-word reaction. I'm going to use a little hyphen. That way I can get 2 very important words in for my one-word reaction. Rock chalk, baby. Rock chalk. I'm excited that Steven Sims is here, and hopefully he makes the team and can be a nice fit. I trust him a lot more than I would a D. Eskridge in that spot. Sorry, D, taking strays here on a random Wednesday in March, but you get the idea. Steven Sims can get the job done, and he's been well-liked. He's been a great teammate, and he's got natural raw speed that he brings to the table. Very smart football player. I'd be glad to have him on the 53-man roster when it's all said and done. Got a great deal for Seahawks fans. We're offering right now free shipping on Cooper Kupp jerseys at chatsports.com/Kupp. And look, you already got to start thinking about some of the holidays coming up in the next few months. You got Easter. Maybe you want to put a Kupp jersey in the Easter basket for the kids. Maybe you got Mother's Day. Maybe mom wants to wear a Cooper Kupp jersey. Father's Day. Maybe dad wants a Cooper Kupp jersey. Get yours now. Take advantage of it with free shipping at chatsports.com/Kupp is where you can get yours now. Free shipping available for a limited time at chatsports.com/Kupp. We also have other Seahawks merchandise, Sam Darnold jerseys on sale as well. Chatsports.com/Kupp is where you can get yours today. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. So Seattle brings in Steven Sims as a wide receiver and return specialist, their most recent signing. And I'll say this. I can hear you loud and clear, 12s, about the frustration of the lack of offensive linemen that have been signed at this point in time. And we talked about earlier in the week the thing that Bill Barnwell of ESPN was talking about, that the Hawks have a mandate from the fan base to fix this offensive line. And they are not delivering on said mandate at this point. But even with that said, let's give Steven Sims his moment in the sun here. I think he can impact the game in multiple ways. And when you're talking about guys competing for those final roster spots, I think that's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for him to separate himself compared to some other guys trying to make this team, that he can impact the game in multiple ways. And I think that'll do wonders for Steven Sims' chances to make the team when it's all said and done. Some of the other notable signings for Seattle here in free agency: Josh Jobe, 1 year, $2 million. He returns. Jarran Reed, 3 years, $25 million. Ernest Jones, 3 years, $33 million, 15 guaranteed. Glad to have Ernest Jones back into the fold. Sam Darnold, 3 years, $100.5 million, 55 guaranteed. We learned some more details on that contract, that it's more so a 1-year deal with a 2-year team option, and that Seattle can get out of it after a year if they don't like what they see from Sam Darnold there. Josh Jones, so far, one of the only offensive linemen that have been signed. 1 year, $4.75 million. MVS is in position to be your number 3 receiver at the moment on a 1 year, $5.5 million deal. DeMarcus Lawrence on a 3-year, $42 million deal with 18 guaranteed. Josh Ross on a 1-year deal. And then a few more for you. Cody White returns. Cooper Kupp, we talked about him a moment ago. 3 years, $45 million. A lot of money for Cooper Kupp at this age and with the injury concerns, but nonetheless, you've shored up the wide receiver 2 spot. Shamar Jean-Charles at the corner position. He'll be a backup corner, and there's been a couple other signings as well that have gone on to this point. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Stay up to date with everything happening with your favorite team here on the channel. We got you covered each and every day. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.